Hi, this is Lou Covey, Editorial Director of New Tech Press, and I'm here today in my office talking remotely with Robert Jones, the CEO of Operational Transparency, about a new technology he's developed to manage the information flow coming in and out of companies. Robert, thank you for joining us today. Can you tell me a little bit about Operational Transparency?
Yeah, what we're about is really bringing data visualizations to really that front line of the organization that has so many information technology tools. There's CRMs and whatnot, but they're really overwhelmed with the data. And what we're doing is bringing ways to see all that data in context so that we can act on it much more effectively and immediately.
Can you show me an example?
Sure. Let's go here on the screen. And right here I've got a very simple example of a customer support operation that's supporting some big accounts. And what we see here, again, this is so for customer support. Let's say this is a case management system that a support engineer or frontline manager is looking at. And what we have here is dots per case. And what you can see right off the bat is that I'm looking at actually hundreds of support cases at one time. And what we've got coded here are ways to see the aging across this direction, the priority up and down, and up at the top are the higher priority, down at the bottom are the lower priority, and the colors are indicating status. And so we can see here on the support side, and I've got this by customer, and on the support side I've got the new cases in red, in process in blue, and on hold or pending in green. And on the customer side I've got in red the cases that need test cases, or in blue the ones that we're waiting for feedback, or the green that are recently closed. And so with that, just real simple association, what we can see in the context of those customers are some significant patterns that pop out. For instance, here at Ford, we've got a lot of activity very, very recently. Okay, and say at Boeing here, relatively sparse activity, but a lot of high priority activity. And the keys here are, you may not, in looking at the standard reports, you may not see the fact that there are many lower level, lower priority issues that are hanging out for a very long time. That as a group, may raise themselves up in priority. If you're trying to renew that customer, that's a very, very big problem. And it looks like your support organization is getting starved out by the efforts that's going into one particular important customer. In this case, it'd be Ford, and these are just these are made-up customers, by the way.
Well, how do they know exactly what's going on with each of those dots?
All right, so here's another example where I can zoom in on each one of those dots, and this is one dot in particular. And again, all of this information is coming out of, in this case, a Salesforce.com case management system. But in order to make this a very effective alternative interface to that system, and I'm not replacing anything there, this is an add-on on top, I can hover and click on individual dots to see what's going on, and I can get just an instantaneous pop-up of a little bit of information about that case. And if I see that there's something there that I need to act on, I can click one more time, and in a background tab, I've got loaded that detailed information in the Salesforce tab. And in fact, if I click here, I can bring up an entire table for one of those dot boxes, we'll call, and I can actually go and look at 2, 3, 4, 5, however many of these cases or dots at a time. And so it's very fast to be able to get in and access information that's critical at today, right now, and go act on that.
Okay. What are companies using now other than this?
Well, it's interesting because companies, tremendous investment in again, information technology, and there's tons of data out there. The kind of the symptom that we see, and I'm showing it here, that organizations and people use, is they begin to export that information out into Excel to start to do pivot tables and graphics such as these histograms and pie charts and and bar charts, and they may produce even dashboards and KPI reports, key performance indicator reports, that try to grasp what's going on with that data. And the challenge is these are very simplistic, 2- and 3-dimensional graphs that, if you could bring it all together, could really tell you something. But as it is, they tend to be just interesting, but not really not something I can do something about right now. I'm actually on site with one customer right now that's really standardized on it in terms of how they're running the operations of their business. And when we first brought the display in and we were showing their data, it was basically a snapshot out of Excel. It was 2,300 lines of issues that were outstanding. And when I put that up in front of the executive staff, the E-staff meeting that I was presenting to, immediately there was an interaction, that exec level action oriented conversation that was happening, that was just spontaneous in a response to what they were seeing on the display. And I really had to call time out after about 10 minutes to remind them, hey, this is data that you already had. I'm not showing you anything that's different from what you are using on a day-to-day basis. What was staggering was the kind of conversations that were happening moments after showing that display. And as we implemented and rolled this out to the organization, we're seeing the same thing over and over and over again. That was at the E-staff level, but we're seeing the same kind of conversations down at the front line in the sales organization or their support organization, where they're making very informed, very contextual decisions, and they're aligned with the objectives of the management team, because everybody in the organization can see what's going on. And by seeing it, obviously connecting the dots, being able to connect the dots with what the operation looks like. And in fact, there were some significant organizational changes that they made in light of that very first display that I showed them, that there were a number of sales opportunities that were falling through the cracks. And they dedicated an entire team to addressing that. And what's interesting is that the organization rapidly changes in response to what they're seeing with this data and with these displays. And it's a velocity of business that we just don't see with the kinds of reports and graphics that I showed you before.
Can it monitor social media interaction?
That's interesting. The motivation here is to deal with the just that data the overwhelming data that's coming in the general operations of the business, whether it be as sales or marketing or support or even accounts receivable. And the interesting thing is that the social media dimension really accelerates and adds that much more communication to the same channels that were there today. It's an opportunity to add that real-time response, but it's also a great opportunity to have things begin to fall through the cracks in ever-increasing speed. And again, what we're doing here is we can display those operational tasks and that have concepts of aging and priority and status, and tie that to those conversations that are going on in the social media context, and really do a much better job of keeping track of those conversations and making sure that those conversations, when we make commitments, that we can deliver on them and that we don't drop them and lose and frustrate the customer because of it.
So you're saying that you can consolidate marketing, sales, operations, manufacturing, customer service, and even social media into a single effort.
That's right. It's many more dimensions of data, if you will, and being able to present that in a way that is very consumable. Right. This is one of the things I love is that I've got very non-technical people that are using this and loving this, because it brings such richness to that data in that single display, and yet it's very easy to interpret. So easy that, like I said, in a few minutes I had that E-staff meeting really alive with that conversation. because of the richness of the data that was there.
All right. Thank you, Robert. This has been Lou Covey talking remotely in Austin, Texas with Robert Jones of Operational Transparency. Thanks for watching.